Hi guys.
Hi guys.
So we're back with another video, and this is we've been wanting to do this for weeks, haven't we? We've just not
months,
had a chance. Months even.
Actually.
And we're sorry. This is a video about a wonderful project between a wonderful man called Michael Donovan, who owns the wonderful Roullier White perfume
in South London,
and one of our favourite perfumers,
Bertrand Duchaufour,
the man himself.
So when
what a collaboration!
We've always, we've liked a lot of Bertrand Duchauffour's fragrances. We've done a review, a video about devoted entirely to. We'll put the link down there. And so when we heard he was releasing a new line in which he'd designed all the fragrances, we were very excited. And then we also discovered that the brains behind the fragrance was in South London, so we could go and meet him.
What a guy.
And I've got to say,
wow.
we were lucky to have met a few people doing these videos and encountering a few perfumers, and he is just the most extraordinarily charismatic and enthusiastic. I mean, we
really inspiring.
He said he was going to meet us, and we thought, maybe 5-10 minutes, then we'll correspond. I mean, we were there. He talked to us for about 2 hours.
It was incredible, wasn't it?
I mean, he's amazing.
You just
energy,
don't notice the time passing.
Really cool guy, and also incredibly interesting guy. So he's worked in the kind of the PR, the promotion side of perfume and fragrance to the very, very, very highest level for a long time. He worked at Creed for a long time. He worked at Frederick Malle very closely with Frederick Malle.
Introduced these brands to the UK, really, didn't he? He brought some of these people into the limelight.
So
which is no mean feat.
Amazing things. And then I should also say that. The shop he's now running, Roullier White, it's one of the best fragrance shops in the country. They're really great for their sampling service. They ship samples worldwide, so it's a great way of trying fragrances, but a really, really good selection. It's interesting when you go into the shop. A lot of the front of the shop is kind of interior design, so very modern Scandinavian interior design, and then you don't see the perfume section until you get to the back and you kind of poke your head in, and there's this treasure trove.
You'd never know, would you?
It's really cool. So if you live in London or you come to London, I really suggest
go and visit.
Go and check it out.
We made it a bit of a tradition, didn't we? Like a Good Friday tradition.
There are a lot of pubs and bars.
Yeah, we don't go to them.
Next to him. So, but even he says, don't come into this shop and smell something and buy it straight away, because you need to know how it feels in the skin. You should go in, you spray it, go and have a coffee or a pint or a glass of wine, and then come back. That's what he suggests.
I love that.
Which is really great. And it was great.
Not a salesperson.
When we were there, he said, people came in and they said, I want to buy something, and he's great the way he kind of curated the collection that they said, I'm into something with rose or something, so we just took them around a whole variety of lots of houses, because you can easily walk into a perfume shop and you can see all these French names of all these brands with all these bright colours, and you think, I don't know where do I start?
It's overwhelming, and even to us it's overwhelming sometimes,
and which kind of links to his house, St Giles, where he's tried to come for quite simple, in-your-face names which give quite an immediate idea, an accessible idea. So let's just work our way through.
We've got some samples here, haven't we?
So we've lived with this for a while. It was a couple of months ago now we were there, and we've been meaning to do this for a while. So we have lived with these for a while. So let's get stuck in. Should we go for the Stylist first?
Stylist, good. I mean, that's us down to a T.
Let's have a new spray. So he's given a description for this: chic, timeless, a trifle elegant. Let's have a spray.
But not a trifle.
Not a trifle. Although, having said that, there is an amazing mango note.
Yeah, it's really good.
Really
made with a very unusual ingredient of juniper.
Yeah, which
very clever.
So one of my favourite fragrances, one of the fragrances which got me interested in fragrance, is Timbuktu by Bertrand Duchaufour, which is mango vetiver and incense. So another mango scent by Bertrand Duchaufour. I was really interested to try it. And this smells absolutely nothing whatsoever like Timbuktu. It smells completely different.
You can almost imagine this being one of the things in his journey.
I feel there's a kind of booziness. There's a kind of a warm, rummy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ness to it. It's very different as opposed to Timbuktu, which is very bracing, quite dry. This is much richer and warmer. And you weren't too sure, but I started to get a slight whipped cream. Maybe not whipped cream.
Yeah,
I was trying to think, it's that sweetened cream, chantilly cream. it never comes overly sweet, but I felt it added to it.
I get a texture, I get a creamy texture, but I have to say I don't like cream, and I've never really got a smell of it, so I don't know. But there's a wonderful roundness to this straight away, despite the brightness of the notes.
One of the things I should say, because we don't want to repeat ourselves too much, but all of these fragrances are very, very, very well composed.
Yeah, my God.
There are no rough edges. They are really well put together.
There was never any doubt with any of these, was there? Every one is absolutely masterfully done.
And for all of them,
you can tell
the
straight
performance, I think they're all EDP.
Yeah.
He said actually one of them, he can't remember which one. One of them is actually X-ray, but he didn't put that on the label. But technically it is an X-ray. But they're all DP, and I found all of them. Some of them performed very well. Some of them performed exceptionally well. But all of them lasted, from 7 till 7.
And if you think about the fact that these are not all big, they're not all big heavy hitters.
No, this is
they're very elegant and balanced things. So to have the performance they do is incredible.
This is energetic. It's so interesting, but I don't know how it's achieved this mango, because I do get fresh mango. I certainly get fresh fruit, not citrus. The fruit's slightly richer and rounder than citrus.
It's like that fruit salad that's stewing in the syrup and the booze.
I get that booze. It's not quite fermented fruit, but there's something boozy and warm and something which draws me in. And I do get a creaminess. I don't know if there's any sandalwood on it, but there's a slightly woody, round richness. There's also a slight energy. I don't know if it's aldehydes or incense. It's kind of let me try this one.
It's buzzing, isn't it? It's vibrant, and it has a glow. It sort of has a heartbeat. I've said this a few times with fragrances.
So this is the one we sprayed a bit earlier.
Duchaufour is a master of getting these very
See, here
radiant
it's
things.
thickened out though, isn't it? There's more depth. There's more round to it.
Oh, it's really beautiful.
Really good.
Again, I wish you could smell this.
Yeah, it's really, really good. Let's move.
So why the Stylist? We should. I mean, he's not his inspiration here, hasn't he?
The line he gives us is chic, timeless, and a trifle eccentric, which I think is what when we were talking about this a while ago, and I said there are a lot of fragrances that I buy because I just want to smell them or want to smell them on myself. There are quite a few here which I would like people to smell on me. So I enjoy this, but I would like to walk past and people think, God, he smells like that. He smells good. There's something. This does not smell. It's not designer or mainstream at all. No. But it's somehow classy. It's interesting and quirky, and it's maybe even eccentric, but it's not batshit crazy. It's not weird.
Yeah.
It's certainly not even in zoologists. It's not like that. This is much easier wearing. Yeah. But still interesting and original.
A lot of the stuff that we wear, we don't really want to share with people. It's very much for us.
Self-indulgent.
Whereas these, I'd happily think, come and smell me, please, because I know I smell fantastic and I know you'll enjoy it.
Next.
Which is nice. What do we have?
The Mechanic.
Yes, this one excited me a little.
So we should say these bottles are not the actual bottles. These are all little sample bottles.
The actual bottles are wonderful, aren't they?
Yeah, we'll include some pictures. So these are samples he gave to us.
Very kind of you as well. Thank you.
The opening of this, I think, kind of misdirects you a little bit. The opening of this is quite bright and quite fresh. I get this kind of quite bright, energetic geranium.
Very herbaceous fougere.
Yeah, very
classical.
herbaceous kind of green. Whereas
equipage or something like that, maybe in that world.
Not quite. I find the opening brighter than that. But I think where it goes, it then goes in a. I mean, it really. As I said, so the start is quite bright and energetic and light, and when it then goes more into this fougere territory.
Possibly the opposite of Fumapo that we smelled the other day. Start in the countryside in the greenery and drive back and park your hot car in the garage of your Paris home.
But this soon steers into real kind of fougere territory. And I said, it makes me think of my dad in a suit.
Yeah.
He makes me think of that, kind of 80s, 90s suit-wearing power fougere, which is interesting because there's another fragrance later on called the Tycoon, which might make you think of that. But in the kind of just after the opening, that's what I felt with this. But
I think I smell Michael Douglas, Wall Street.
yeah, I know.
You know, an absolute power player out there. In the world.
But soon it steers away from this herbaceousness, and castoreum starts to creep in and creates this leathery, oily feel to it.
So good.
And also, I start to be reminded of. I'm not saying it smells like, but it somehow gives me the same feel of Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
So it doesn't smell exactly like it, but that oily, rugged, manly, leather jacket wearing.
And I would say Fahrenheit before it was ruined. So when you get that diffuse, gassy, violet thing, and it's very.
Yeah.
It's very gassy and it's like, you know, when you go to the SO garage and you get that wonderful smell on the forecourt.
The suit is off. Like, we've definitely gone away from Wall Street, and like, you know, the oily dungarees are on. I think
he's a suited guy by day and he's a biker by night, and he gets all the leather on, and
this is
he's covered in oil, and
we're
beautiful.
kind of skipping through a bit. We've not quite got there yet, but this leathery, oily, castoreum-y quality starts to dominate, and that's what I feel you get for the largest part.
Quite unlike the Duchaufour we've known. I mean, the Stylist certainly has his signature. If I smelled that, I would never instantly recognise Duchaufour.
Next,
wonderful. Love it.
The actress. What does she say about this? Intelligent, knowing, and seemingly unattainable.
Yeah, Meryl Streep.
So, if you like,
Margot Robbie for me. But.
Margot Robbie. Sure, let's go with her. This is a really, on first spray, it's a really beautiful lily of the valley. Now,
I'm not a fan of the lilies normally, are you?
No, I normally don't, and I know a lot of people, especially guys, may struggle with white florals, but this is done so well. This is kind of thick and rich and creamy, and I also think there's a bit of jasmine and honeysuckle, but it's never. I think what people don't like about white florals is they either go really indolic or really sweet, and that this does neither of them.
Yeah, it's like 1,000 miles away. You know, the indolic thing is interesting because the white florals for me always take me to like funeral homes and that smell, and it really isn't that at all. The sort of honeyed sweetness of it.
It feels, and also
is beautifully.
When we're talking
elegant.
about these florals, you might think, oh, is it old school feeling? It doesn't smell old school.
No.
It somehow smells modern, and maybe it's that honeysuckle adds a little bit of sweetness. I don't know if it's me, but I also get a bit of this whipped cream thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm reading it, but the whipped cream we got in the Stylist, I feel there's a bit of that to this, which maybe drags, you know, the white florals away from the old-fashioned Grand Dame into a more playful.
Yeah. It sort of acts as a binding, maybe. But imagine that you've been locked in.
It's really lovely.
You've been locked in a dark room and you can't smell anything, and then you step out into a field of wonderful florals, and there's a breeze. I mean, this you know, transports you 1,000 miles away, doesn't it?
So this is it after a bit more time.
What's it like on there?
And I think there's more honeysuckle. There's more honeysuckle than jasmine, and actually, you don't really get much lily there. You know, it's a white floral.
It's gone a little sweeter.
It's gone a bit sweeter and a bit around and a little bit sexier. That's a bit formal. This is a bit sexier.
I got a little papyrusy.
Yeah, we were talking about this
well.
kind of dryness, this kind of dried reed quality.
Yeah. I have to say, I like my big punchy leathers and you know, what I would consider to be the uber masculine things.
Yeah.
I would happily wear that without blinking.
It's really classy.
A nice spring day, white shirt.
Yeah, with a suit. I think it'd be really nice with a suit.
Stunning.
Right. Next.
So I told you we were actresses, really.
Yeah, we are at heart.
We're sort of footlight fannies.
Tycoon. Oh, right. Yeah. So let's. This is the one he describes as opulence and power, self-assurance and privilege. And Michael was talking about this, and he wanted to achieve this pomelo note.
Yeah, which is a kind of grapefruity.
It's kind of grapefruity thing. And we were talking before, and when I think pomelo, I think of the Atelier.
Yeah, Pomelo Paradis.
Yeah, Pomelo Paradis.
Which is lovely.
And what is amazing about this, so I was talking about the longevity and performance of some of these.
Great projection already.
This is one of the best performing freshies I've ever smelled. So you get a very
absolutely
fresh, appley, citrusy, bright greenness.
But already you can feel the structure, can't you?
You can, and
You feel this is propped up on some real
in a way,
legs.
I found this quite linear. But what was amazing is that the freshness that you get to the start, you still smell 8 hours later.
Yeah.
I mean,
This lasted a day on me, no problems at all.
Yeah.
And it kept on radiating. The same way that Timbuktu did for me, actually, once upon a time.
I think better,
It has a
better
pulse.
performance than Timbuktu
Yeah.
there. In a way, I mean, I guess
It's absolutely beautiful. It really is beautiful.
for my personal taste, I found this a little bit safe. I can see this very easily being the best selling.
Yeah.
I mean, when we talked about this, we did use the A word.
Yes.
Which we don't like
We're
to
not
use too
gonna
much.
mention it on here.
The
Scottish plague.
Yeah, and I'm not saying it smells like that, but there is a quality of a fresh, fruity note over a woody base, which is it projects well, and it's, I guess it does have the confidence, that he's described. But it's interesting. It's much better done. But if you want to smell fresh and and clean but confident, and it will last all day, I mean, it's an incredible suit and tie formal fragrance.
And it is beautiful, isn't it? Dan, I was saying this to Dan earlier on. We forget in our journey, don't we, that we like our big funky animalics and things that
leathers
challenge.
and oud, which.
We don't very often wear something like this, but on smelling it, it's actually really beautiful, and I can totally imagine the time of wearing it. I agree with you. It's quite linear, and it's safe. It's not going to challenge in any way. But I would never. It's the one thing I would say would be a pretty safe blind buy if you want to smell clean, fresh.
I would say also it's
tailored.
It's a good kind of gateway niche fragrance. If you've been buying a lot of designer fragrances and thought, maybe I want something a bit more interesting and a bit which doesn't smell quite designer, and also the quality is the next step up. This is a really good one to go for.
Yeah, and keep in mind, master perfumer.
Yeah, I mean, prolific. Incredible.
It is really good.
The
Not
last
for me necessarily.
one
I like it a lot.
is. What's the last one?
Writer.
Oh yeah, so this is the. This is one of my
This is great stuff.
This is one of my favourites. So this is I think Bertrand Duchaufour has been referred to as the master of incense.
Yeah.
So this is incense. There's a bit of aldehydes. There's also pepper. There's ginger. There's cedar. But what
that pepperiness is already coming off.
We were talking about this before, and it's incredible that all those things I've just said, it makes this sound like, spicy, acrid, bitter. It's somehow incredibly round.
Yeah.
All those harsh notes, and if you've tried something like Avignon by Comme des Garçons, which is by Bertrand Duchaufour, and found it to be a bit simple and a bit blunt, this is kind of a more sophisticated, more complex, more wearable, more interesting version of that. I found the performance on this really good.
It's like he's taken a series of triangles and somehow made them into a circle.
Yeah.
God knows how.
Yeah. You're exactly right. He's taken lots of sharp things, and somehow the result is there are no rough edges. I got a few compliments when I was wearing this as well. And as I said, it lasts all day. It smells really good.
I don't like to swear in church, but it's really beautiful.
Yeah.
And I'm now in the autumn season, I'm getting back into my incense. I was wearing Avignon the other day.
This is perfect.
Full incense, Montal I like, but this is so much more. It's got a lot more going on.
And again, this is another fragrance. As I said just a moment ago, it's not just something which I like to smell, but I would like people to smell on me.
Yeah,
absolutely. It's the kind of fragrance image I would like to project.
It's really unashamed, isn't it?
Yeah, people will walk past you and think, God, you smell different, but you smell really good. Not you smell batshit crazy.
Yeah. Which we normally do.
Yeah. So
why the writer though? What's the inspiration behind the writer?
I didn't write this bit down.
So I'm getting old library.
Yeah, it feels like it
Books,
does feel
woods.
like a thinking person's fragrance though.
Yeah.
It's not not to kind of bash the Tycoon, but that's maybe a bit more simple and a bit more in your face and a bit more obvious. Citrus woody, whereas this slightly more interesting notes. It's a bit more of a thinking person's fragrance, I think. So all of these,
really
they're all
good.
the same price. They're all £140.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I've got to say, actually, if we think about some of the things we've reviewed recently, we've talked a lot about value for money.
Yeah.
And I think £140 for a 100ml bottle of one of these is very good. I think all of them, they perform very well. I would also say, I think none of them are hugely challenging. I guess the mechanic is maybe possibly the most challenging, and maybe the Stylist people might find it a bit unusual.
They make you ask questions, but none of them make you
certainly if you're somebody who's branching, going from designer to niche, these are a good way in. There are no rough edges. No. You can't pick holes in them. The performance is great, and I think, as I said, £140 I think is good value for money. They are definitely much higher quality than any designer.
And he's done something really wonderful here, hasn't he? Because he's actually come up with 5 fragrances, and I would say there's something here for everybody.
Absolutely,
which isn't easy to do. You know, you look at a lot of houses, and almost everything in them, you think no one's going to go.
Yeah, well, I think
apart from very few people.
I think he's really created a wardrobe.
Yeah, it's very specific, isn't it? And a group of people will love that. Another group of people will love that. Yeah,
I mean, I guess if I was going for a wardrobe, I would want something ambery and a bit more sexy and intimate. Yeah, I guess that's what's missing from this collection. But
that might be to come in future. Who knows?
I think they're a great collection.
Yeah,
Bertrand, you've not disappointed us.
He never does.
No, he never does.
And Michael Donovan, I mean, great guy. You know, he could quite easily sit there and run Roullier White and have a great time, but you know, he's got some spirit to go out there and create
all of these. So
stuff.
if you go to the Roullier website, Roullier White website, you can get samples of all of these. They ship worldwide, so you don't need to go and blind buy a bottle, and we would never suggest you do. So go and get samples of these. You know, they're only a few quid for those little samples, so you can try the whole range for about, I don't know, 12, £15.
Visit the shop, you know, if Michael's there, chat to him. Yeah, if you're close enough to do it.
He will definitely love to speak to you.
It's so wonderful.
But go and try them, love them, experience them. If you've tried them, tell us what you think.
Wear them a lot over a few days. Experience them.
But until next time, happy sniffing.
Bye.